Hey everybody, my name is Brian. Welcome to the show. It is Thursday afternoon. This is the Pickle Party, and I'm here with a very special guest. Are you guys ready? We have none other than the Mexican Iron Man. Mike, the Mexican Iron Man, what's up, brother?
Look, I dressed up for you guys for special for the members. Look, I got some green electrical tape right here. I made it all Mexican looking, and I even grew a mustache. Okay, I can't do that. I can't do that for an hour or two.
Yeah, when I first saw you on the preview, I was like, why is he wearing like one of those special bus helmets? Like, what's going on right now? I was like,
thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here. Big fan of your work. It's so proud. I mean, I have seen you. Maybe we're only seeing each other now live for this brief moment in time, but I mean, I have dozens or hundreds of hours. This channel is amazing. You're amazing. Your brother's amazing.
Thanks, man.
The video quality is amazing. I've been trying to tell everybody to watch that last Brian Fuller video that I'm on top of the trees. I'm trying to tell everybody to come take notice, man. Great job. Thank you for having me. It's my honor to be here.
Awesome. Thank you, bro. Thank you for being here. Thank you for Shane is not here. I had a video to show you guys of him, and I just ran out of time. Yeah, he's still running from the cops. So hopefully he'll be back next week.
I can help with that. I'm Mexican.
Right. Maybe you can get him across the border.
Hey, everybody. That's not a problem. Anybody can do that these days, but you know.
That's true. All right. So a couple things. That video is doing really well. However, I found out recently, every time we do a live stream, literally every live stream we do, it just throws the algorithm off. And that day, the previous video just tanks.
Yeah. So
I recorded it this time. I wanted to prove my math, and I literally took a snapshot over the last 48 hours. And as of an hour ago, that video was doing about 1,000 views an hour. So after this live stream, if that amount is cut in half or worse, I'm going to be convinced that live shows just ruin the algorithm.
Well, for what it's worth, I can tell you I don't have empirical data. I don't have scientific data studies, but I run a lot of live shows for a lot of channels, and I've been a guest on many a live show on many channels. I produce a lot of channels pretty discreetly behind the scenes, and I can tell you that you either build a channel by being a live streamer, or you do videos. And the thing with your guys' videos is the quality is so high. I can see how live streams might hurt the number of views.
Hey, so good news. We're not doing a giveaway this week. I'm sorry. We will return with the giveaways next week, but I wanted to focus solely on the content this week because last week we were actually shallow. However, we have our new book. Shane wrote it. I illustrated it. I wish I had a cool copy for you to show, but I didn't have time to set up graphics. But it is an actual book. And there's pictures. It's based on our first real big video called Stargate: The Definitive History. And next week I will be giving away the copies of this book to any of you crazy Stargate fans. So stick around for that. Don't make sure you come back next week. And of course, we are reviewing the Orville season 9. Actually, the episode before the finale, and there is still a lot of questions to be had. So this is going to be an interesting review. On its own, the episode was really good. If you include it in the whole context of the season, I actually find a lot of problems. We're also talking about Marvel's Phase 5 lineup. I figured if I'm gonna have Mexican Iron Man on, we gotta talk about Iron Heart, because I'm sure you have a lot to say about that. Alex Kurtzman confirming 2 brand new Star Trek series, which is crazy. One of them might be a Janeway show. Who knows? And Henry Cavill holding out for more money for Superman, and the reason why he didn't show up to Comic-Con was apparently he got COVID or something like that. That's what's being reported. Sounds like some copium, but we're going to talk about it. First off, how's everyone doing in the chat today? We got Penny J. Kenneth the Rogue, Archmage Frey. I know Jeremy's there. King Velas Felix. I'm not going to go. I know Shane, you Salty Trekker. What's up, Mike? Mike actually said something pretty funny. He's like, you should just have me on. I'm better than Shane or something like that.
Hail, Salty Trekker.
I'm sure Shane's gonna have a lot to say about that. Listen, I'm not gonna go through everyone, but I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you guys are watching this. Be sure to throw your comments up. I have that new system where I can actually throw comments on the screen. I know Streamlabs have. Streamlabs have been able to do that for a long time. I just figured that out. So, all right, man. We're just gonna jump right into the review. Unless you got something you wanna push. How you been doing?
Oh, great. Doing great. Enjoyed getting ready for the show. I'm ready to talk about the news. Ready to talk about. I saw the show almost twice. I rewound it and I missed the first 20. I skipped the first like 15, 20 minutes. But other than that, I saw the whole thing twice and really want to get into it. It's been an interesting season. And where do you want to start? Are we doing spoilers or no spoilers? How are we doing this?
No, this is pure spoilers. So let me explain how it works in case you guys are just watching for the first time. Basically, if you look on your screen here, there's two little scores. Two little zeros. And as we like something, let's say I like something, a scene, we're going to come across a scene, I'm going to give us a chance to either upvote or downvote that scene. If we like it, we give it an upvote. If we dislike it, we give it a downvote. Just that simple. At the end of the show, we're going to average these scores and come up with an official Popcast score.
Okay.
So we're gonna jump right into it. You ready to rock?
Let's rock.
Welcome to the Orville Review, episode 9 of season 3, the Orville New Horizons. I'm here with Mexican Iron Man, and we're going to break it all down for you today. We're about to upvote and downvote this thing, and I can't wait to get right into it. So, Mexican Iron Man, you know how this works, or at least I just explained it to you.
Yep.
We're going to start off with an overall upvote and downvote. Overall, as the episode on its own, not without the whole season, how did you feel about this episode? Give me an upvote or downvote. Upvote. All right. I also liked it on its own. It was very good. Now, we're just going to run through this. We start off with on Krill, which looks fantastic. And, of course, last episode, we figured out that the Moclans were kicked out of the Union. They can no longer be part of the Union because, I don't know, they're like horrible sexist monsters or something like that.
Total alien masculinity that is toxic.
Yeah, toxic alien masculinity. They were kicked out of the Union. So who do they come crawling to immediately? The Krill. So let's recap real quick. We were fighting two wars, right? We were fighting the Krill and the Kaylon. We were allied with the Krill and we pissed them off, and now we're against them too. And then we pissed off the Moclans. So at this point in time, we are now fighting 3 technical wars: Moclan, the Krill, and the Kaylon. So looks like the Moclan are going to hook up with the Krill. And there's a scene in here where they ask him, where the Krill leader asked the Moclan leader who would be running this partnership. And he said, "Of course I will, because you're a woman." And I thought that was hilarious. And I'm going to give that an upvote and downvote moment. Did you think that was not only funny, but probably specific to their race?
Absolutely. Totally authentic. Let's do this. Up.
Okay. I'm going to give it an upvote too. And we're just going to scan through this real quick. Let's get to the good stuff.
I should say their species.
What's that?
It's indicative of their species. I said race. I meant species.
Right, species. Yeah, they don't like females. Like, they really don't. And she's a female. So, okay, we open up in this amazing scene where Kaylon, this. Let me just go back here. Let me show you the formation. All right.
Oh yeah.
So there's a formation of Union ships, and they get in like this star formation. I don't know, understand it. I guess it's like a defensive formation of some sort.
I guess when I first saw it, the first thought that came to my head is this is the prepare to get your ass whooped formation.
Right. Yeah. I wonder if it has anything to do with the weapon. Like, do they need to be in that formation specifically for the weapon? I guess not, because later on they don't need to use it like that. But it was a cool scene. A lot of Kaylon, a lot of ships. I've been complaining the entire season that we just have too many space battles. And I gotta tell you, while this is really cool, this whole scene coming up really cool. I mean, I was right. Because you had so many space battles leading up to this, this just felt like another space battle. When you opened up with this formation, all those Kaylon ships, my initial reaction should have been like, "Oh crap, something about to go down."
Yeah, it was a flat reaction. I'm gonna stick with you on that one. While the scene was cool, I didn't feel that kind of like jolting. I think what they were looking for was like, "Oh no, they're in trouble. Oh no!"
Right.
But you're right. We've seen so much of. I actually thought that when this came up, I thought it was going to be a flashback or it was a simulation.
Right. Yeah, because we've seen so many battles, there was no real emotion to it. And I said this in episode 3. If you keep giving us all these battles, while they're great, when you get to the big one where we need it to be like a really strong emotional moment, we've already experienced that like 4 or 5 times. So
I went through this whole scene thinking that it was a simulation. Just so you know, like I ended up being surprised when I realized it wasn't.
Right. We got a super chat from the Texarcist. I can never say your name, dude. Reminder: none of this would have happened if Ed wouldn't have let Topa down to the female Moclan colony. Yeah, that's true. There wouldn't be any. Yeah, he just don't let Topa on the ship. But we complained about that last episode, so we're not gonna go back there again. Now this moment though, yeah, they look like they're in trouble, and then all of a sudden this weapon out of nowhere, and there's gonna be a downvote and upvote moment, and it's gonna be hard for me because while I want to give it an upvote because it's really cool that they used a weapon that just disintegrated all the Kaylon ships, it's gonna be a downvote from me, dog. Because this was never insinuated in any moment the rest of the season. At no moment were they working on a weapon. I don't really understand it. What do you think about this?
See, there's another scene. What you're touching on right now, there's another scene where they describe all of that. And that one for sure was a down for me. So I'm not sure. I'm either gonna go up here or down on that one, or if we're just gonna if we're not gonna look at that scene, then this scene's gonna get a down. I mean, you know what? I'm just gonna give it a down right now, and I'm gonna tell you why. Number one is that when it happened, I didn't feel any stakes. Number two, I didn't feel that there were any stakes because I thought it was a simulation. I didn't have an emotional hook. I didn't know where it came from. And then when all of a sudden they have the superior weapon, and they explain how that happened, and they do it like an expository storytelling fashion, right, which just drives me nuts. It didn't used to, but with all that we saw with the Star Trek writers room, like with Discovery, that whole exposition stuff, I'm just so saturated by that storytelling device. So I'm gonna go no.
Right. And how about this? How about just a simple line in the beginning of the season, episode 1, 2, 3 even, where they're working on some kind of technology, like Isaac and Lamar are working on something. I don't understand how you can just introduce this like big giant weapon out of nowhere.
Well, I think what you're talking about makes even more sense because if we sit back and we have the entire season to look at, which they've had the opportunity to do and we didn't. If you sit back and you look at it, there could have been little discussions of that story arc along the way so that now when we get to this episode, we could have the reaction to say, oh, they finally finished weapon development. Because the Kaylon have been a threat the whole time.
Right. So we needed some more information. Jeremy Snyder says after the emo Kaylon, they discussed using the pain chip to make a weapon. Yeah, they did mention that you can use the pain portion to make a weapon, but like, I don't know, there just wasn't enough. And in that episode with the emo Kaylon, what was his name? Like, I forgot. Tomas or something like that. Hello, I'm Timus. I think it was Timus. I think it was Timus.
Yeah. Well, he was in touch with his inner Kaylon, or his emotional.
Right.
Right. He completed himself.
So I guess that was the setup to this, but it was not clear. It was not clear. I thought they were using that episode to somehow get Charly on board or something. Tomas. Hello, I'm Thomas.
Where'd that guy go? Maybe they tested it out on him. Is he still around?
Right, and yeah. So it affects all Kaylon. So now did it just blow their ships up, or did it blow them up? I don't know. Anyway, it was a cool scene, and I wanted to give it an upvote, but because there was no mention of this giant fleet destroying. Go ahead.
This is the scene I was talking about.
Right. Yeah,
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, yeah, they explain that with his knowledge and her ability to see in the multi-dimensional...
Four dimensions, bro.
4 dimensions.
Bestest ever.
Yeah, I still don't understand Charly's abilities. Like, are they just like natural? Like, do some humans have the ability to do that, or is she special? I don't really know. But they made it clear that they needed her multiple times with this ability at least in regard to Kaylon technology. And you're right. This is when they explain that with her ability to see multidimensionally, we were able to. Again, though, you can't really introduce this big of a weapon with zero foreshadowing, zero mention of it the entire season. I think it's too much.
Yeah, this scene absolutely was a down for me because I couldn't stand the expository. I just can't. That plot device is just. I've just been hammered with it with all the different Star Trek episodes over the last several years.
Yeah, Tom Board said Charly can see fourth dimensionally, and Isaac's knowledge led to the weapon. Yes, makes total sense. At some point in the previous 8 episodes, though, mention that. Maybe after meeting Tomas, you can be like, hey, with Tomas's help, and some new information, we might be able to, disrupt their positronic pathways or something. I don't know. Like some kind of foreshadowing. Don't just open up with it and then have a couple characters doing exposition explaining how it happened. Like that's
so cheap. since I'm going to nerd out a little bit further since that comment came up and you touched on this. I was kind of waiting. I wasn't sure at what point in this show that I can bring this up. So what I would have liked to see done is this. So one of the things that this is explained is that Isaac is of a different generation in terms of, and so he could have, would have, should have been working on this longer than like they just had a meetup,
right.
For an hour.
He's like Generation 2, right? He was built by the Kaylon.
Right. So they're just, I mean, the threat's been out there for a while. These two have known each other for a year. I mean, I think one of the things we learn about is that they have been, I know that they've only recently we get the vibe that they're recently working together, but I don't know. This scene's a downvote for me. It really, no, didn't work for me.
Yeah. And I'm generally not a fan of exposition. I prefer you to show me. I understand that exposition is required sometimes, and that's completely okay. But really big moments need to have some kind of foreshadowing or something that makes the exposition a little easier to swallow. You got to cover that exposition in sugar if you're going to force it down my throat.
Right.
Don't take that. Don't clip that out of context, okay? All right. So they want to use it on a larger scale, or at least this Admiral does. And of course, there is unique sort of morality issues here, right? Like the Kaylon are sentient. Do we amp up the production of a larger power source so we can just like blast the entire universe and kill all the Kaylon? Well, I gotta be honest. I sort of agreed with with this admiral. The Kaylon might be sentient, but they're also their entire mission is to kill all life in the galaxy, all all natural life in the galaxy,
all biological
life. Thank
forms.
you.
All biological forms.
Yeah, explains. Yeah. Again, he explains how they rapidly made the weapon. Still not. It's just not good enough. You can't mention it in this episode. So it looks like Admiral what's his name? I was forgetting. Guy from Cheers. Whatever. This
Admiral.
Guy.
Right.
Yeah, this guy. I forgot his name. Sorry. This guy is for using the weapon to just completely remove the Kaylon threat, and everyone else is, against it because morality, I guess. So they decide that it's probably genocide and that they can evolve. So we're just gonna skip through all this, and they're gonna go and they're gonna talk to the Kaylon, and of course they're sitting around with Charly, and Charly disagrees. There was a moment here that I'm actually going to upvote. Basically, she gets out of line and she gives Admiral Ted Danson. Thank you. That's his name, Admiral Ted Danson. Charly gets out of line and gives Gordon a little lip, and I like how he goes, "Hey, careful, ensign." He shows a backbone. That was good, man.
Yeah, bad.
Tone it down, ensign. All right. Of course, we go back to this story. Amanda might be alive if we use this weapon. I hate the fact that they introduced she had this love life or whatever with her friend before. I don't like the Charly character. If I'm going to be real honest, I don't like the character. You didn't have to introduce a new character this season and then make her so important to the entire season. I just don't really like the character. And I have a lot more reasons, but I'm not going to go into one right now. If you look at our other reviews, I complain about her readily. All right, so they're going to the Kaylon Prime, and they're going to go try to talk to them diplomatically. On the way there, though, they blow up a ton of ships. Every time they're coming. The Kaylon don't want to talk, right? They're trying to hail them. They're trying to explain that they want to talk. Kaylon are just firing on them, so they just keep burning through Kaylon ships on their way to the planet.
Like a boss.
Imagine, I'm actually going to upvote that. And what do you think about this?
Yeah, no, this was awesome. I like the whole it's a boss type of thing. Hey, we come in peace, and the aliens are like, pew, 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 pew. All right. Whoomp. Next discussion. We're really trying to come in peace. Whoomp.
Right. It was interesting, too. Imagine the Kaylon in this moment where they're they're just bulldozing their way toward their planet, and on the way just destroying everything in their wake. That's gotta be, if they had emotions, that would be terrifying.
Right.
So they actually agree to talk because they don't have a choice, which is nice.
No.
Which we're gonna get into this later on. I like the fact that first off, the visuals here are fantastic. I mean,
yeah,
I'm gonna upvote this just because every time you go to the Kaylon planet, it's beautiful.
Right, and when I watched this, I was watching on my I have a home theater set up, so I have an 82-inch screen. I've got 1,400 watts of surround sound. I've got dual woofers. The sound on this thing was just amazing.
So is this an upvote for you too?
Absolutely upvote, huge upvote, double.
Yeah, okay, double. Yeah, it's gorgeous. So now I like the fact that they only spoke to them because they had no other choice. That's very Kaylon-like. Later on, it's going to be a downvote for me, and we'll get to that scene where they just sort of invite them into the Union. I was like, that is not a wise choice. But we'll get to that.
Hey, we're not there yet.
Yeah. So the Kaylon decide that they're going to have a truce, basically. And until
Do we get to vote on this whole scene?
Yeah, we're going to right now. Real quick,
Okay.
Kaylon decide they're gonna truce, but it's only until they figure out how to defeat the weapon, and they make it very painfully clear. So, all right, we're on Earth. I'm assuming at Kelly's father's or grandfather's cabin of some sort, and there is a really funny moment here where, well, tell me what do you think about this scene?
I could have done without it.
Yeah.
I know what they were trying to do. I know what they were looking to achieve. I found it a bit out of place, distracting, and completely unnecessary to the rest of the episode.
Right. Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yes, I agree entirely. This is one of those scenes Orville does a lot where they throw sort of a throwaway scene in there that's meant for you to identify in some way with the crew and maybe make you feel more for them. So when something bad happens later on, that you've identified more with them and you have more of a connection to them. But it doesn't really ever work. First off, Kelly is just an alcoholic at this point. I have determined via the last 9 episodes of this season, she is just constantly drinking wine.
I have an ex that reminds me exactly of Kelly. Real pretty, but every night she'd polish off anywhere from a half bottle to a full bottle of Chardonnay. Easily.
Jeez, man.
And on the weekend, some stronger. And I'm not in recovery, or I'm not a non-drinker. I mean, I do drink, but I just don't make it a habit. I mean, at all. And I got to tell you, she completely reminds me of one of my exes.
Right. And I don't have a problem with drinking. I have a problem with this character. Every episode is constantly, Kelly specifically is constantly just, would you like some wine?
I mean, I'm gonna say the obvious, not so obvious. If it was Ed drinking every single show, don't you think it would be a little bit more noticeable, or that's something they just wouldn't go there and do? See, I think it's like Kelly can get away with it somehow.
Yeah, she can. Yeah, I agree. Real quick, I'm gonna fix your mic. I just realized that your mic was. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You know what? Let me take this helmet off. I'm gonna talk better if I have this helmet off.
Yeah. Okay. Go for it.
All right. There we go.
No, I think you're totally right. I think painting this character around. In fact, I feel like maybe part of the character, if we had actually had a season 4 coming, there might be some kind of arc where she is actually dealing with an addiction issue, and maybe that's why she's constantly angry and throwing herself into danger this entire season. I mean, it might be a great foreshadowing, you know?
Wow. Gee, let's handle that social issue in sci-fi.
John, yeah, why not? John Burns, we handle everything else, dude. Super chat from John Burns. Sorry I was late, but in my defense, wine tasting. Okay, there you go.
Hey, well, was Kelly there?
Jeremy says Kelly drinks like me. There was a good moment here though when the Moclans were trying to open up the the walnuts. I found that.
I love when they get in fights over stupid crap.
Right. This is the kind of relationship between Clyden and Bortus that I like. Is the fact that they're constantly arguing about just nonsense. Or when they in the previous season when they discover the ability to create cigarettes out of the replicator. This is such a it's so not just funny but sort of endearing to their character.
Yep.
Kelly is an alcoholic, frowny face. Okay, salty director. Kelly is Sherry is drunk, pure and simple. That may be why she F's everything up. I mean, it's true. All right, so let's get past this moment. It always confounds me, and this is just a sidetrack, but they live in a society where they don't use money.
Right.
It's almost like utopian Star Trek kind of
meritocracy based.
Right. It's based on their ability. There's no money. It's like the perfect socialist, future. And it only sort of works because they have replicators, really. But how does Kelly have this sprawling estate? How did Picard have, like, some of these, like, no one needs for possessions. They don't need for anything. But like all the main characters in these shows seems to have really nice places and houses.
And that's in every dimension. Even William Shatner was making eggs that, remember for Picard shows up.
Right. They have all these sprawling estates.
Everybody's got a second home and a cabin in the woods.
Right. I feel like in that kind of a future, I don't think society can afford to have that much that large of a cabin. I don't know.
The whole gazing at the stars thing with Isaac, I'm like, okay, I see they're trying to do the family cutesy little check-in as the family's still okay. Totally unnecessary.
Right. Yeah, it's cute. It's cute. It didn't add anything to the scene though. And this episode is already like an hour and a half long, so there's definitely things here they could have just cut out, save for the DVD extras, man.
Yep.
All right, let's continue past this. This is when the captain... Right here is they're trying to endear the audience to Charly so that her sacrifice later on means more, and I get this entirely. They probably should have been doing this, though, for like 3 or 4 episodes straight. Not in one episode. But that's fine.
She's so cute, though, I got to tell you.
Yeah, Ann Winters is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Jeremy Snyder. Kelly's not an alcoholic. She's a professional.
and Kelly is no quitter, Brian.
No, she's
not.
She's
going to drink every episode. She is no quitter.
Super chat from John Burns, waiting for the Adrian Palicki versus Seth lawsuit. I don't even know. Is that real? Are you messing with me? All right. So, these Union guys, I thought for a moment they were like Kaylon or Krill in those hollow suits.
Me too. I thought they were hollow suits. I was sure they were hollow suits.
Right, but they're not. Yeah, these are actual like Union officers, and they beat up the other Union officers and they steal the weapon and they take off. It's interesting. Last episode, I believe it was Danny the Dark Knight said, "Wouldn't it be weird if the leak was Admiral Ted Danson?" I can't remember his name, but Admiral Ted. And I gotta be honest, he was right, but also not exactly what he meant. We all scoffed at that. We were like, I really hope that the one cool Admiral is not the bad guy.
Right.
However, in this instance, he wasn't the bad guy. He had a different idea of what needed to be done. He wasn't actually the leak. So the entire season, the Kaylon were always on their heels, right? They knew when they were going to show up with what, the time travel device. They were constantly there. Obviously, someone was giving information to the Kaylon, and we couldn't figure out who it was. So for a minute there, we thought, they're going to make it the Ted Danson character, because of course. And that's not the case. He was not leaking to the Kaylon. He stole the device because he disagreed with the Union, and he took off to the Krill because he knew that they would use it to wipe out the Kaylon threat. And we're going to talk about this a little later, but to be honest, that is probably the wisest choice of action. The Kaylon magically joining the Union and everyone being friends is just really hyper unrealistic. So
every alien is beautiful in their own special way. No.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Londell, there was nothing wrong with the cabin scene. The war was over at that point. It was all about celebrating. Well, okay. I'm glad you liked it. I disagree. They're celebrating, but it was unnecessary. It's already an hour and a half long. All right. So, moving past this point. So, they actually killed Ted Danson, Admiral Ted Danson, because I can't remember his name, because they don't want him telling the Union that the Moclan and the Krill have teamed up.
See, and that's tactical military thinking.
Right. So I'm going to upvote that.
Which is what Admiral Ted Danson was doing. He was doing tactical military thinking.
Right. And I'm going to upvote that for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
However, later on,
I was sitting there when he took off, and she said, "What are you going to do now that you've already been a trade?" He says, "Oh, I'm going to go back and turn myself in." The first thought I thought is like, "Don't let that guy walk out the door, blast him."
right? Yeah, just murder him. You don't even gotta kill his ship. You can just kill him right there. Yeah, I totally agree. Only problem is his sacrifice here didn't really mean anything because they instantly figure out that the Moclan and the Krill are working together, like instantaneously. So,
Well,
killing him,
it might have been 90 seconds later, but yeah.
it might have been 90 seconds later. Yeah, but whatever it was, they figured it out. The second they went to that facility, you know. Whatever. I mean, it's fine. It makes sense. That's why I upvoted it. Now they're trying to figure out. They figured out that Admiral Ted Danson is the one that took it, and they're tracing his shuttle. And literally, like the next scene, they find out that it was the Moclan and the Krill together. So,
You know, I just realized I missed something. I didn't realize because they said that. Didn't they say that they had trace energy weapons from both Krill and Moclan? I didn't realize that they both shot at him at the same time.
oh yeah, good point.
I thought only one ship shot, but maybe I missed that. Maybe I got it wrong. I don't know. But that just, I don't know. Just why would both ships shoot at him at the same time? That's weird.
Yeah,
But whatever.
I don't know. I honestly don't.
That's a nerd thing for me to go back and look at.
It's a super nerd thing.
That's me, super Mexican nerd.
Super nerd.
Ha!
All right. I was just fixing something. Okay. So the fact that they found him that quickly is fine. That does. I'm not gonna upvote or downvote that. That makes sense. You know, that's one of my complaints. Though it's like you can spend like 15 minutes on the cabin scene, but like 90 seconds later they figure out exactly who stole it and where they're at. You know, it just seems that maybe you need to prioritize different. But it's my opinion. All right, so they figured out that they're building a giant, huge power source, bigger than anything else that can, you know, they can use the weapon up to like 10,000 light years or something crazy. John Burns, super chat. Kelly's place was inherited by Daddy. I mean, yeah, I guess that's how people in the future have these sprawling estates. They just inherit them, I guess.
Dang, no upward mobility at all for estates.
Yeah, what does that mean for us regular folk that don't have an inheritance? So we just like live in little cabin, like little apartments.
Yeah, I have to set up little tortilla gardens in my own little tiny apartment, and because I'll never be able to afford a big cabin plantation. I gotta,
You ever see that movie, The Fifth Element, with Bruce Willis?
Yeah.
You remember that scene where he opens up his little he lives in like this little apartment. He opens it up, and there's this Asian guy selling like Asian food, and I always feel like in the future I'm gonna be one of those two guys. Either I'm in that little tiny apartment eating some cheap Asian food, you know, cheap Chinese food from like a taco cart, basically, right? Or I'm gonna be the guy who's selling tacos in space. That's gonna be me. I'm gonna be one of those guys.
Going from window to window.
Right. I'm never gonna be the guy who's like, you know, I'm not gonna be the Zorg building. You're right. Thank you, Kenneth the Roke. $10 super chat. No message, just a really cool sticker of a guy flying. Thank you, Ken. Jeremy Snyder says there's tons of land available everywhere. Just get out of California. I mean, you're not wrong there, dude.
I did.
John Burns says, you poor's done whining about no cabin now. How dare you? Okay, so yeah, they figured out they're building this giant weapon, and of course they tell the Kaylon, who they just threatened with the weapon, that they lost the weapon.
Like if I were Kaylon, I'd be like, "Where's my blaster, you idiots?"
Like, what the F, guys?
I mean, if that isn't for like, I would be like, I'm like, wait a minute. You guys figured out how to wipe us out, and then you lost it.
Right. Immediately.
Thus,
so quick.
further evidence and proof that the biological should be wiped out just because they're that dumb or whatever.
Yeah, they're so incompetent. We have not talked about Picard yet.
I mean, look, I leave my house and my phone goes off because I got those tiles. Did no one put a tile on that super duper weapon?
Right.
Hey, it's left the facility.
Yeah, someone throw an air tag on the weapon.
Exactly. You know the little
Yeah,
things,
the little Apple air tags. Yeah.
Yeah, hold on, I got one here. In fact, the technology is so good. We're not even like in advance. Like the one I have in my wallet looks like this.
Right. Yeah, I have an even
tape
smaller
it onto
one.
the weapon.
I have a smaller one that you can literally place on someone's. It's magnetic. You can just throw it underneath their dash, and just track that car forever. Because
you're like weed.
I bought two of these things, $50 a piece, and I just hid them in each of my car, my wife's car and my car, not so I can find out where my wife is going or whatever. But if someone stole my car, I don't need to spend $120 on LoJack a month on LoJack. I can just pull up my AirTag thing and find out where my vehicle is. I don't know. You're right. Yeah, someone needs to put a tracker on that sucker. And so the Kaylon are noticeably, obviously upset because it's ridiculous. You just told us that you can wipe us out with this weapon and then you lose it. And they're going to make a temporary alliance with the Kaylon to go back and get it. Now, so the first couple acts, loose. The second, I guess the second act of this is much better. First off, ridiculous amounts of Kaylon ships, Union ships, gorgeous graphics. It looks stunning.
Yeah, and not only did it look stunning on my 4K 82-inch TV, but the audio was awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Top notch.
They did a good job on the audio mastering of this because I could hear with the surrounds and I could hear,
people complaining.
Things really got going.
In the first episode, people were complaining that everything's gonna look like video game graphics. I'm like, I don't know what video games you play. It's pretty good graphics.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna skip through all this. We're gonna skip unless you want something to talk about something specific here.
No. Keep going.
Okay, we're gonna skip to the planet. So they figured out where Bortus happens to know where they would be studying the weapon based on the person that they would take it to being this genius weapons developer Moclan guy. And so they go to this planet to find it, and they got to send the shuttle down there to retrieve it with Charly and Isaac and a couple other Kaylon. What follows this is actually pretty sick, because the little, what are they called? Darts? I forgot what they're called. Damn it. See, if Shane was here, he would know exactly what these are called. I completely forgot. The
fighters, you mean?
The little fighters. This entire scene is actually really epic with the fighters, and then they gotta bail out of the shuttle. And the way they bail,
Top Gun move, you see that?
Yeah, it's really rad, man. Really cool graphics. Really of course, Kelly's there again. Kelly's always there. That's a whole other topic. But this scene when they decide they gotta bail out of the shuttle is actually really rad. Mm-hmm. So Charly, there is a ton of fighting going on. There is people smashing into ships and blowing up things right below her, and she just very cockily just decides to just fall out of the shuttle backwards.
This is a total Tom Cruise Mission Impossible maneuver.
Right, it totally is.
It's
rad.
Dun, 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 dun.
What's even more rad is when they tell them that they have to pull up at the last minute or whatever. The Kaylon Prime is cool, adios. First off, the Kaylon are such a badass race. They're so dangerous. They have weapons built into their heads. They have in their skulls. They have rockets. They can fly around. I do not understand at all why you would let these creatures who want to kill you, live. I totally understand Ted Danson's take. These things are hyper dangerous, dude.
And let's not forget that there's evidence where they find. Remember that scene where they find all the skulls stacked
Right.
You know,
yeah.
I mean, there's obviously millions, hundreds of millions of people wiped out. I mean, there's skulls lying around like they're M&Ms on Halloween.
Right. Yeah. They killed their entire all the biologicals on their planet. They're builders. And I understand. I guess they explained why. I guess that they did that.
Yeah.
But still, these are the little Iron Men. These are like an entire race of Iron Men who want to kill all biological life.
Yeah.
John Burns said the Kaylon will always defeat the Union. Humans are dumb. Yeah. What is that line?
I mean, these are your Terminator 800s, 1000s on crack.
Right. Yeah, they're super gnarly, and they even like the Kaylon Prime. He's there after they killed him. They're like, well, nice to see you again. He goes, oh yeah, we back our networks up or whatever. It's like you can't even really kill them. It's ridiculous. So, what's that line from Spaceballs? Like, evil will always win because good is dumb.
Yeah,
that sounds about right. Jeremy Snyder, did the assault on the planet remind anyone else of the Star Wars: A New Hope?
Yes.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought for sure we were going to get an actual trench run.
Right. Yeah. All right, so they go on the base. All right, they have Moclan and Krill working together. Awesome. Pretty sure I saw those guys at Comic-Con a couple years ago.
I do have a problem with the tactical here with the rifle, because when you shoot from concealment, you don't like step out. You just become a bigger target. You're supposed to go like this or like that.
Yeah, I know you're right actually. So I was in the military, and this is what they're doing here is called mount missions, right? So
right.
The way she steps out from this, that's not how you do it.
No.
That's not the right way to do that.
No.
That's fine. They're not military. I get it.
It's okay. Well, no, they are.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, I get it, but the actors aren't, you know.
Yeah, well.
You're right. I mean, I guess you're right.
With all the money they spent on this show, they could have gotten this right.
Yeah, this is completely wrong. So she should have been.
This whole scene is
she should have shouldered the weapon on her left, right? And she should have came across with the bolt first, right?
Yep.
So she should have swapped to her left shoulder, and then brought the weapon down and then back up. That's how you turn a corner with a weapon. Yeah.
Yeah. I do a lot of tactical stuff, and so this whole scene was a downvote for me.
I was really bad at mount mission training in the military because I constantly it was really hard for me to like not get hit with one of those practice grenades or whatever, because I couldn't barely even hear them drop with all like the weapons fire and everything around me. They would toss in one of those like dummy grenades, and you're supposed to like take cover immediately or you're getting a bad score, and I couldn't even hear them drop. All I saw was all of my battle buddies like driving for cover, and I'm like, what's going on, guys? Hey. I mean, the way. Thank God I never had to actually face a grenade.
That's how he came up with the name for the channel, right? Because you like pop and explode in training, so they podcast.
No, we just wanted a cool idea take on podcast. We didn't realize that like every single other person had the same idea. So there's like 400 podcast channels. So now all we could do is be the best because everyone else is using.
That's right.
All right. So they're trying to use a weapon. They're trying to,
I love all these fighters. I gotta tell you, I love that freaking.
Yeah, they're really cool. Now I'm gonna this is an upvote for me too, because this whole scene, this with the receivers or transceivers or whatever, where they gonna like shut it down. I really did feel anxiety. Like, oh my god.
Me too. I was engrossed and all in.
Right, and first space battle you've given me so far, where I was really feeling anxiety over the characters involved, and if they were gonna launch the weapon, like my idea was, what if they launch the weapon but like they stop it just in time, but a bunch of Kaylon around them, get hurt. I don't know. I thought there was a lot that can happen here. Yeah, I almost sort of wish they would have launched the weapon. And that would have been a really cool idea going forward. Like, there's still a couple Kaylon that sort of like survived it.
Renegade Kaylon that are still a threat and didn't make peace. And
Right. And now they're even more pissed because like you just took out all their boys.
Right.
I could have done. There was a lot of the fighting in the base was just sort of lackluster. I kept hoping that we can get back to the battle outside, or get to the point inside. But this was the sort of the trench run right here you're talking about. Very cool stuff.
Yeah. Very cool.
And of course, Gordon's doing it. Of course, that's our boy.
Right. And we knew the Asian guy, like we knew like he wasn't going to be long for the battle. Right.
No. Yeah. Definition of a red shirt. All right. Krill boss, lady boss. You know, is gonna take Kelly. I'm just gonna. This whole scene for me was whatever, unless you want to look at it.
No. This is a downvote for me.
Yeah, I'm downvoting that too. I had no interest in it whatsoever. All right, now this part was actually good. We're gonna skip to inside the right here.
Yeah.
All right, so Charly is working on the weapon. Oh, damn it! There we go. Charly's working on the weapon, and they're trying to get a. This is great. So the Moclan are trying to find a tactical way to sort of like take them out, and they're moving around the room. And Kaylon Prime is having none of it. He just starts firing. He just starts. It's the second.
Well, it was before that. It was before that.
Was it?
That's when. No, that it was before. You gotta go back.
Oh, when we took them all out when they were trying to run or whatever.
Right.
That's great.
Okay, now go. It's right after that.
Is it right after this?
No.
All right. You know what? You guys saw it, okay?
There it goes. Yeah, okay, we saw it. But
I like it.
that was bitching.
Yeah, when he just like killed all the Moclan that were running away. But he does spare the main guy, or I'm sorry, Isaac spares that guy and sort of shows Kaylon Prime dude how like I guess mercy works or something. I don't know, but it was a very cool scene. the Kaylon are so dangerous. Texadurus cat fight. Oh, you know what you're talking about. John Burns, super chat. Thank you, sir. Okay, Tala, anytime now. Tala. Yeah, good point. Okay. We get to this moment. Charly's going to sacrifice herself.
Yeah.
All right. Now I understand this is a sacrifice, and it's good. You know, it's good that she redeems her sort of like negative character by dying for everyone else. But I do not like this trope. I do not understand why it can't be put on a timer. I don't understand why she has to die. I felt like it was so rushed that it felt a little cheap to me. And I understand TV tropes do this a lot. Like, no, I am the only one that can launch the bomb. Get out, man. Get out. And sometimes it's done well. Like there was a scene of an episode of MacGyver where someone close to him dies, and they explain it very well how it's either one of them or the other, and you know, or even in Endgame, you know, it was either going to be Black Widow or Hawkeye. Like those moments.
Okay, so like Aliens with when they're in the tunnel and you know, they blow up the grenade so that everybody else can keep going,
right?
That kind of thing. That's done well, you would say,
right? That's done well because like there's an obvious reason. This felt like, are you telling me you can't figure out a way to not die here?
Well, you're probably right. I agree with you on the storytelling element. I really like this whole scene and how it played out.
I like the way it played out, but I don't even understand I honestly don't even understand what the urgency was. Like they had already taken over the weapon. It felt a little cheap to me. I like the scene. I like that she sacrificed herself for basically this person who hates the Kaylon, sacrificed herself for her crew and the Kaylon. That's how far the character has come.
I really liked it and loved it. I liked the way this whole thing played out. I really liked it.
Okay.
Although you're probably right. They could have, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, so you give me an upvote. I'm not giving it an upvote or a downvote because I liked it and I also disliked it. I disliked the whole TV trope aspect of it. I did like her sacrifice. Feel like that could have been fleshed out a little bit. Could have been a little more there. The Texadura says, "What's up with Seth either writing or killing off characters he has been with or is in a relationship with?"
Hey man, this is the easiest way to. Mexican Iron Man says this is the easiest way to break up with a chick.
Just kill her off.
Oh no, but it's not about you, babe. It's not about us. It's for the story.
It's for the story, babe. Jeremy Snyder says, "Story for season 4. Charly ain't dead. And huge ass explosion somehow made her evolve."
She's in the 4th dimension now.
John Burns, like Star Trek 09, Chris Hemsworth had to die law. Yeah. I didn't like that either. And I like that.
Oh, you didn't like that she died?
No. I'm talking about, he's talking about Star Trek 2009, George Kirk or whatever. Kirk's dad has to like manually pilot the Kelvin into the Romulan ship, ultimately doing nothing because
I mean that scene was just whack because look, I could be in my Toyota Highlander and put the cruise control on and go out the door, or it says autopilot was up. Well, shit, turn the engine on, point it away, go.
Right? Yeah. What was it seemed like he had so much time where he's like just in the chair holding on. Right. I didn't like that at all, man. And then, of course, Chris Hemsworth, blows up and becomes like this A-list actor everyone wants a piece of. And when they're talking about the next Star Trek movie, of course, they're talking about bringing Chris Hemsworth back as Kirk's dad. And you're like, maybe you shouldn't have killed him off. John Burns, Seth MacFarlane as Arnold, considered a divorce. That's funny. All right. So, good scene. I felt like, it's a typical TV trope. This fight with Krill and Kelly lasted way too long. Yeah. Jesus.
Having had 2 ex-girlfriends get in a fight with me at a bar I used to own where one was working there and the other one wasn't, but showed up. And yeah, no. I'm not into the cat fight thing.
Yeah. And so finally Kelly goes, "Hey, Charly, you got to go." And he's just like, "Just get out. Get out." She's like, "That's an order." And, whatever. That whole scene was good. I'm not complaining. I just feel like there probably could have been better.
How does Charly have more computing power than either one of the Kaylons? I don't know.
Yeah. So here
I did have.
All right. Let's quickly talk about ways Charly could not die. Ready? First off, you don't actually have to make it explode. The fight's over. Just retake the weapon. Okay. Don't blow it up. Number 2. We've already established that the Kaylon can remote transfer themselves, like they're backed up into the cloud. Let the Kaylon Prime guy kill it.
Yeah, that's what I thought was gonna happen.
You established that he is backed up to the cloud anyways.
Yeah, that's what I thought was gonna happen. That's my like that. I thought that's what was gonna happen for sure. So I thought Kaylon guy would be like, "No, you do not need to go. We appreciate your service for letting my people live," or some other kind of, talk. Right. He comes in. That shows teamwork between Charly and then the new Kaylon with Prime, right? And because he's primary, right? So primary comes in, and then that sort of takes that whole Kaylon forgiveness, Charly hatred, and that resolves it all. And she lives. He comes in. He says, "I can, I will see you." Back on Kaylon, or I will see you. Boom.
No, maybe he says something cool. He's like, "See you on Kaylon," right?
Yeah, boom. That's what.
Whatever. Okay, so a couple scrubs on a YouTube channel with like 30 people watching just figured out a better ending.
And Charly lives.
Okay, so here, let's talk about character growth or foreshadowing, then character growth. Foreshadowing. First off, you have him kill all the Moclans, and then Isaac shows him how to have mercy. That moment where they actually like communicate that information. Later on, Charly's ready to sacrifice herself for everyone, and Kaylon Prime goes, "Wait a minute, You know, I can back myself up. You guys go. So now you have growth on Kaylon Prime. You have growth on Charly, who was ready to sacrifice herself for the Kaylon, and the Kaylon sacrificed themselves for her, right? And then when you get to that scene where they're going, we're going to get to right now, where they invite them into the Union, it has more weight to it because the Kaylon actually showed some kind of morality or ability to to work as a team.
Well, and that offer means more. And then here's the other thing too. When that offer is being made, I'm sitting there on my sofa watching this going, I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like a bad idea. But how would you feel that way had the Kaylon Prime sacrificed himself? No, I wouldn't feel that way.
I wouldn't. I think we got a great ending, bro. Brian, I think seriously.
We really do, man. That's a much better ending, and Charly lives. But then Seth has to keep working with her. And, we know he doesn't want... I'm just kidding, man. I don't know.
COVID's over. It's a new season. We got to film. There's new opportunities for Seth.
I don't know.
Seth needs
new opportunities. Are you talking about new starlets coming into the Fox line?
Well.
Seth MacFarlane is just picking. He's just picking like like you're at a store.
Yeah. And can you just imagine him like, it's just like, we do have this one slot open.
John Burns says they try to get her to go. She has to be with Amanda. I mean, yeah, but I would argue the whole Amanda thing is like super thin. Like, they just sort of like pull out of their asses. Like,
it was a little bit annoying.
It just happened like instantly, and you're like, okay. So again, we have no connection to these characters. Of course it's not on the same level, but like in Star Wars Kenobi, like when Wade died. And everyone said,
I was about to say Wade right now.
Right.
I was just about. I didn't say it. I held it back. I'm like, last thing Brian wants me to do is bring up Kenobi on today's show. So that is exactly the thought that popped in my head a split second ago.
Yeah. Right. It's like no one cares. Like, we don't know this character.
Justice for Wade. All right.
Right. At least with Charly, we know more about the characters. When they have this like big funeral at the end, it makes sense. So let's talk about this scene. The Krill gets invited into the Union. How do you feel about this?
It's
not a full membership, but it could be a full membership.
All I'm saying is, like, I'd have a very ironclad prenup agreement. That's what I would have.
So it's an up vote or a down vote? You can go neutral.
I'm going to go no.
Huh? I'm giving it a down vote, but you can go neutral and give it.
Okay, I'm going to go down. Yeah, that's what my gut says down. I was going to go neutral, but my gut says down. I don't think it's a good idea. I mean, when the whole time this was happening, I was going, like, the same reaction I'm doing now is the reaction I had when I was on the sofa. And I saw this thing twice.
And again, though, with our ending, had Kaylon Prime sacrificed himself to destroy the weapon,
that's totally
completely different. It would be an up
vote.
Vote. 100%.
Right, if they go our ending, then I'm like, this is the right thing. They've proven themselves. They've sacrificed for the Union. They've already shown that they can play ball on the same team, not work against. They've all, like, if this guy right here, if this was Primary in his new suit, transported, with the lessons he's learned, then you're like, okay, let's go, bro. Let's do this.
Right, because the building blocks are there.
Right.
But just like with the weapon, came out of nowhere, there's no actual building blocks here. In fact, the Kaylon, now there's no weapon, and you killed Charly, I would argue that the Kaylon have no reason to be part of the Union.
Do you think that the only reason we killed off Charly is because supposedly in all of these episodes, she's like the bestest ever kind of special fourth dimension girl thingy?
Multi-dimensional.
Yeah.
No, I just think that she was a one-season character. John Burns super chat. So why did Charly kill herself? Because But why? Why don't you understand? Oh, no reason. I'm an intelligent robot with vast knowledge. Yeah. So I'm not trying to dunk on this, but this scene doesn't make any sense. Why would the Kaylon join the Union? Right? Give me one reason. Because the Union has a weapon and shows they're showing as biological, as a biological species that they are on the same level or they're a threat to the Kaylon, and they have this weapon that's going to force the Kaylon to come play ball. Okay, but
which, by the way, is no different than mutually assured destruction, which is what kept us and the Soviets at bay and at peace, because we knew we could wipe each other out at any given day of the week.
Right, which makes sense, except for there's no weapon. They made it clear that it takes Isaac and Charly's special fourth dimensional skill that is very rare or no one knows about to make the weapon in the first place. They know the weapon's gone, and they know Charly's gone. So
right.
The humans now do not actually serve as a threat to the Kaylon.
Right.
So why would the Kaylon even be there in the first place? Because the humans went out of their way to destroy the weapon? That doesn't sound like a very logical response.
Especially when they don't have emotional chips working.
Right. So at best, that would be like a highly emotional response, which is not like their character. So really, the ending we needed was for Charly to live so that threat is still there in some way.
Right.
And Kaylon Prime to sacrifice himself after learning from Isaac on the mission. And then the building blocks would be there for them to actually come to the table because there's still the threat of that weapon or a weapon like it. And they've shown they can work as a team. And so now they have a little more respect for biologicals. But because our ending didn't happen, this actually doesn't make any sense.
Right. I agree with you completely. Because here's the thing. If she lives and she can make that weapon again, then the threat's still there. And the restraint, the other element too, is the human restraint or the biological, the reunion of all the biologicals' restraint of using that weapon is what enables the peace to exist on the flip side of that coin.
Right. Orville Nation.
Why has Seth not sent the check for $100,000 to the Popcast?
Yeah, come on, guys. Come on, we're writing this for you. Orville Nation super chat. Mexican Iron Man, grinning, squinting face.
Hey, brother.
And John Burns super chat. What does a mind wipe do to the Kaylon backup? I don't really know. Yeah, are they constantly being uploaded? I don't know. That's beyond me. I'm not even gonna try to.
They're all connected. That was established that they're all connected through the unified matrix.
Right. So they're all connected, which means that if one dies, they can just pull his consciousness out and throw him in a new body.
Right. By the way, I have a dumb question to ask. You know how they made this weapon? This weapon is made out of it's made out of matter. Like, did no one take pictures or write a blueprint? Like, why can't it be replicated? Or am I asking too many questions, Brian?
No. So you have a good point. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, this is
what I want to talk about.
If I make this watch, okay, I put together this Garmin watch, right, and then all of a sudden, I'm gone. Can't Brian come along and re-engineer that watch?
Right. No. So this is like the ultimate MacGuffin sort of TV trope. So it's almost like they found a weapon, right, that they can use. They learn how to use it, and then they lose it. Except for they actually didn't find the weapon. They made it. And if they don't have the ability to make more, then you got to ask yourself, who is so incompetent that they didn't? Is Charly that important? Is the ultimate Mary Sue where only her brain chemistry can make this weapon? Only Stamets can control Discovery. Only that. It just seems like the ultimate TV trope to take your MacGuffin that you just magically found or created, and then lose it, and then you have to determine. Then you have to create this sort of drama that you can't recreate it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
And let's face facts is that, drawing upon the Iron Man storyline, it's not like, the Mark 47 suit is very different than the one that came out of the cave. Wasn't there an early version of this that they, where was the beta test model?
Right, yeah, there was no draft. You just took your brand new weapon into a space battle and turned it on. Yeah, that's a good point. John Burns, $2. They did show that Charly not a builder sacrifice. That's true. Salty Trekker. PJ Orville Nation. Do you still think it's an alternate reality? I like this too. Salty Trekker. That's the other Mike. Why did the Union?
No, I know Salty Trekker. I love him.
Why did the Union only build one of these weapons?
Well, that is what we are discussing. And where was the one that was done first? That must have been a version before this one.
Right. We got super chat from Texter Chris. Thank you, Texter Chris. I did miss your super chat because I was on a rant. The Kaylon leader is deciding whether to end the war, and Kelly is mouthing off to him. Yeah, I know. Jesus. Kelly,
I like how she calls him Hun.
Yeah.
Hun.
Kelly, stop talking. Why are you even there? The crew really needs to set up an intervention for her. The boozing jeopardizing galactic peace.
Exactly.
I'm so glad you reminded me of that super chat. That's great. Why is Kelly there? I don't understand. Whatever.
She's there to drink wine.
Hey, you guys suck. Okay? It's fine. It's fine.
Here's Kelly midway through the episode.
I would have loved in this scene for her to literally have a wine glass in her hand while she was talking. All right.
I did overall love this episode. Oh, we're not done yet.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Yeah, we got two more scenes.
All right. So basically, they're gonna, they make the Kaylon agree to help them with the Krill and Moclan, and then we get the Charly Burke funeral. Very nice. This is not specific to the Orville, but have you ever wondered why it's only the characters you see on screen that get these elaborate funerals and none of the people that randomly die around them? That's all sci-fi shows.
Right.
Karen the Rogue Super Chat, why send the only ones who can make it on the mission? I think it's because they needed Charlie's brain to shut it down or something. You know what? That's a great question. I'm so tired of Karen the Rogue asked, why send the only ones who can make it on the mission?
That is a great question.
I think it has something to do with her brain. And
well, she does see the fourth. We don't know what that is. I'm going to do a drop for the Popcast, exclusive to Popcast. I'm going to do a dramatization of her abilities with the fourth dimension.
Wait. Let me get you on camera.
Ready?
Go.
Here's how it goes. That's what she does.
Yeah, that's pretty
exclusive to the Popcast.
That's pretty accurate. Yeah, I don't understand either. John Burns, but I think John, better idea is set her up with a wine IV in her arm. Imagine you just have an IV bag and it says Chardonnay on it.
Oh, poor Kelly.
But yeah, the funeral is nice. It makes sense. I do feel like a typical TV trope. We only ever see the main character's funerals, and none of the other At least
I'm giving this a thumbs up. I gotta tell you.
Yeah, I'm giving it a thumbs up too. But there was 300 people that died in that space battle. That's all I'm saying. A lot of people died.
Yeah.
One thing, there was a Star Trek movie I saw once where instead of having a funeral for one character, they had a bunch of caskets lined up, and they had this big emotional thing. So the audience got what they wanted, and they had the funeral for Spock or whatever it was. But it made sense. There was a lot of caskets because a lot of people died in that fight. It made more sense to me. That's fine though. This was still a very good scene, very emotional.
I love this scene.
I do too. I was actually in that. I was when I went to the set.
What?
I was that area right there, that deck E, 0102, that's an actual area. They built that out.
Okay.
And then when we went to the Fox lot to visit the ship, and they have this entire cargo deck that they built out for this.
Wow.
Like those aren't just graphics. Like you see the top pylon here. I don't know if you see my cursor, but that actually exists. Like you can actually walk on there, and then right above that is just a ton of lights. But the majority of that thing is actually built out. I walked in there and I was like looking around. It was incredible.
Well, and that's one of the great things you get when a series like this is done right. And I think that's one of the problems, with the reliance on things like soundstage and what they're doing with the Unreal Engine and stuff. While it does allow a lot of cool stuff, you can rely on that stuff way too much, as Disney did in Kenobi and other shows. And this right here gives you that granularity and that depth of perception that really pops out at you.
I agree. Yeah. And
did you see what I did? I said pops out at you. Popcast pops. You see what I did there?
Yeah, I saw what you did, bro.
All right, it didn't work. I tried.
All right, John Burns, super chat. Yes. What about the Asian plot? They forgot. Yeah, they did. And
Wade,
my vote. Get her. Hire Jay Moore to voice all Yaphet's kids. Yeah, that would actually work. Yeah, the Jay Moore sort of sounds like he can be like Norm MacDonald's son. Orville Nation super chat. They each get their own 15 minutes on funeral day. Imagine that. They're just like swapping pictures out all day long.
Yeah.
But having been to that ship, one thing I can really say about the Orville is that you're totally right. Like they built that entire ship. You can walk through that ship. You can walk through the engine room. You can walk to the bridge. You can go up and down the stairs. There's cabins. There's like med bays. Like everything you see is built. Like they built inside this giant soundstage. They built a ship, and the ship is actually like you can navigate through the ship. And now there's pieces that are separated and all that, but for the most part, a lot of it's connected, and a lot of the walls that, like, there's one thing that sort of takes you out of it. When you're walking down the hallway, and you're like, "This is super rad." It's like Star Trek, and then you'll see like a random wall just like missing, and that's where the cameras are. It's really cool stuff.
But because they've done that, that's why the shots feel like they do. Some of the shots where they're really long, that's why. So you've been there, so that's why it works. Huh? That's
right.
Cool.
Orville Nation,
Cool.
He says, "I'm serious, Brian. Is that a real thing? Do they really all get their own 15 minutes on funeral day? That makes sense. If that's a real thing, that's sort of cool." Yeah. All right. So, really cool scene. And that's it. So let's chat about this episode. Let's do our little. Let's get our final thoughts. And one more after reviewing everything here. Would you give the overall thing now taking the entire season into account, not just one episode? Like at the top of the show, we said, what's your overall upvote and downvote for this one season? Now take the entire season into account and give me what's your upvote and downvote for this.
Up.
Okay. For me, it's neutral. It was an upvote.
Really?
It was an upvote by itself, but if you take into account the entire season, I'm not going to give it an up or down. I'm going to say neutral because I feel like they had opportunity to set this episode up a lot better than they did. Salty Trekker.
I would say.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Read Salty Trekker's comment.
I don't know. I can't see it. Salty Trekker. Retype it, Salty. I missed it. Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say that I think I'm going to say this. I did have, maybe this is where you're going with your reaction. One of the reactions that I had when I saw it the second time, where I skipped right past the cabin scene and then I rewatched the rest of it again.
Right.
If I had known that we were going to go here in terms of this episode, and I'm saying if I were Seth or I was Orville production management, global, okay.
Right.
I probably would not have gotten distracted with some of the things that happen in some of the different episodes. If this is where, and I don't know where we're going to end up, right? There's one more left, right?
Right.
So
one more episode left. Yeah.
Yeah. There's 10. We've seen 9.
I think what happened is that one of the things that's been echoing in my head between the first and second times that I saw it is that and it's been bugging me for a while, is that when you see Seth, whether it's Comic-Con San Diego or other places, he keeps saying, we went big, we reached for everything. Maybe we reached around and reach around, I shouldn't have said that, but maybe we reached in too many places to try to do too many things with too many storylines, too many plot lines, because what has happened in this season is I definitely feel that there was, and maybe I'm going to be proven wrong, I got to suspend judgment until I see the 10th episode. But looking back as to where we're at now with this 9th one versus where we started and everything in between, I'm feeling very disjointed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm feeling very disjointed, and that disjointed feeling could be addressed either one of two ways. Either A, we're going to do a serial, a la Battlestar Galactica each season, more or less, right? Or we're going to go episodic. Pop, 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 pop. But with only 10 episodes, it's a little hard to do both, in my opinion.
Right. Even with 1.5 hour long episodes, it's like, it's not just the amount of time you can spend on each episode, but you know what? It makes me feel like, because you're still tied to that story, you're not telling, like, it's, you know, it's semi-episodic in the sense where they're continuing the story, but they're also telling, like, sort of like this individual story on the inside, which I like. I like that. This style of storytelling I love. Supernatural, one of my favorite shows of all time, did this very well.
Yeah.
I know it's a very vapid show, but they were able to really accomplish.
Supernatural.
What's that?
I love Supernatural.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's one of my favorite, bro. You know what's funny? Look at this real quick. Look at this. I got Demon Dean on my wall, dude. Look at that.
Oh, no way.
That's rad, right?
Sweet.
Yeah, my buddy gave it to
Sweet.
me. I don't know if he painted it or what, but it's one of my prized possessions. No, so like they're accomplishing this sort of perfect mixture of episodic and running story arcs, which are great. But they're still in that mold where sorry. There it goes. They're still in that mold where and then in that episode they are telling a story, and there are still only 10 stories they can tell, right? Yeah. So you have an hour, you have these like big 1.5 hour long episodes, but you're still sort of stuck in the mold of telling that story. You can't tell 2 stories a week. You're telling that one story that plays into the grander scheme. So I think you're right. I think the 10 episodes, even with the longer time frame, is actually going to hurt them. Especially if they don't get a 4th series, which I know everyone wants them to get a 4th series. I get it, but it's not really looking great. And we'll get more into that when the season ends. But you know, I don't know if I had to bet, if I had to give odds, I would say it's probably not going to happen. You know. If I was a betting man, I'm like, let's bet on whether I get a season 4 or not. I would bet no. Even though I want them to get a season 4, they're moved to Disney, and the fact that like the actors are doing other things already, and like, I don't know, it's not looking good. But we'll get into more of that later on. Salty Trucker said they sent Charly and Isaac because if the weapon was activated, they're the only ones that can shut it down. They said that in the episode. Okay, so why not just shut it down? Why blow it up?
Well, they said that it was once it was connected and started. I don't know. Look, here was my problem. All right, I didn't say this earlier, but let me go back. I didn't say this earlier because you were it was during your rant. I had a thought, which is that when that whole scene happened, I'm like, obviously this device isn't too complicated because the Moclans figured out how to hook up a battery and get it going,
right? And
install all kinds of security protocols, whatever the hell.
In very little time,
right? And basically 1 or 2, 3 days, Mr. Toxic alien masculinity weapons dude, tactical guy,
figured out how to manage and manipulate this mystery weapon. And so, that was, I didn't say it earlier, but that was definitely in my head the first time I saw it. And the second time I saw it again, I definitely thought that too. So I don't know. What do you think of what I just said about that part?
No, I think you're right. I think that this is supposed to be like the super complicated weapon that only Isaac and Charly can deal with. However, you actually showed on screen that the Moclans can figure it out in a couple days. So it can't be that complicated. Again, further proof that our ending would have been the better ending. Would have been made the most sense.
I'm ready for us to get our word. Let me do my hair.
Orville Nation Super Chat, thank you, BJ, said, COVID did not allow location shooting, affected some decisions perhaps. We will see more exploration in season 4. Yeah.
I think they are going to get renewed and they are going to get another season, but I have no basis to feel that way or think that way. And but that's what I think.
Like I said, I would like them to get a 4th season. Like,
I'd like them to get, what I really hope they get is I hope they get like a 2 or 3 year extension so they can really sit back and try to not pack too much into 1 year. Like I think they did. I think they packed too much into 10 episodes. I think for all the things that Seth wanted to do, I wish they'd gotten 20. I wish we'd gotten 20 episodes, but it is what it is.
I would have liked, almost like what they're doing with Star Trek, where they're like, they just signed them for 3 seasons off the bat.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, just go all in. And why are we? Another thing too is, why are the streaming services playing their decision making the way they were on network television, but they're not acting like network television? So they go,
I don't know.
We're not going to give you 18, 20 episodes because it doesn't matter, because advertisers don't matter on our platform. And we're not going to give you run of network and all these other little things that they're not doing because they no longer have the network restrictions. But they're doing a lot of their buying the same way a network buys, not based. Honestly, Paramount's doing it right. I can't believe I'm saying that, but Paramount going, hey, you know what? We believe in this, so buy 4 seasons, buy 3 seasons. Why are we doing this whole thing? We're like, oh, maybe this year they get renewed. What are you talking about? This is a streaming service. Like, why is there renewals are usually based on viewers and advertised dollars? That's not a this is not even a factor.
Hulu has an advertising tier.
Okay, that's true.
But
they're also on Disney Plus. That doesn't.
Yeah. But I think they're going in that direction.
And like advertisers, and on network television, you spend extra to be on an episode of Friends versus an episode of a soap opera. So you're not spending extra on Hulu to be on Orville versus, Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, well, they're figuring that all out. And at the end of the day, they've got to go back to ad dollars and they've got to go back to figuring this thing out where, because the streaming wars has not worked out the way these streaming services thought it would. And it won't. You're right.
You're right. It's not going to work out.
You're right, and they're wrong, which is absolutely true.
There needs to be an ad. There actually does need to be an ad tier. And I know people hate this, but like every single streaming service needs to have a tier that is ad supported, and then a tier that's
all of them do.
Premium. They all need it.
All of them do. All of them.
Because TV has worked for a long time under that model. You need to go back to that model a little bit and and tweak your pricing to have the ad free tier, but to also have the ad tier so you can actually have longer runs, get people excited about TV shows. It's very hard to get excited about a TV show that has 8 episodes. There's only 8 episodes and there's probably not a season 2. I mean, what? And then dropping them all. A lot of these people, not the Orville, but a lot of these streaming services just drop everything at one time. There's nothing to talk about week to week.
Seen now 1 through 9 so far. Do you wish that it had all dropped at once or no? I do.
Of what?
looking back on just 1 through 9 so far, the 1 through 9 episodes, do you like that you saw them episodically week after week, or would you wish to have seen them all if you could have dropped them?
No, I like the weekly thing.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the deal. Of course, as a selfish viewer, I like binge watching things. Okay, of course. I would love to. What I do when I'm sitting here working, when I'm editing, I'll have a TV show running through 3 seasons as I'm making the next doc video, whatever. But
okay,
for the show to be successful, you have to have buzz. You have to have people talking about it, theorizing about it, reviewing it, and there's no reason to review and discuss, water cooler discussion about a show that just drops everything like that. So it doesn't build any momentum. There's no anticipation, bro.
I agree completely.
I just coughed in the mic. Sorry, guys. Jeremy Snyder said Seth wrote this season like it would be the last. It feels that way. Orville Nation said, notice some cast and crew are tied down to other Seth projects. Winky smiley face, and shows that shows we're getting season 4. I don't know how accurate that is. We're gonna have to get into that a little more. Jeremy Snyder watches Hulu for free because of a Sprint customer, but we watch his ads. Yeah, but it's not the typical network ads where it's tied to a specific show. It's advertising. It's like YouTube advertising. It's like you're not like picking the show you're advertising on, like old network television was. Okay, so we're gonna bounce off from this, but I think we're generally in agreement. I am excited about next episode. I feel like this could have been like a series finale easily.
I agree with you. Yeah.
So that begs the question: are they going to end the series on a cliff note?
I don't know. I thought they would. If this was not the end of it,
sorry, cliffhanger.
Which it isn't. Yeah, if this was not the cliffhanger, I mean, there was no cliffhanger. So I don't know, man. I got to tell you, I don't know where we go from here exactly because I really don't know.
John Burns said that Whiners caused political ads to be put on Hulu. Yeah, I saw that. What's funny? People were complaining about, Hulu's not taking my political ads. Well, they're not taking. It wasn't like they were denying Democrat or liberal ads. They weren't doing any political ads.
Right.
Just a heads up, guys. Like, the article that came out about that, and that was reported, like Hulu was denying specifically a liberal or Democrat political ad, but that's not the case. They literally said no controversial ads whatsoever on either side of the political spectrum. No political ads.
Right.
The fact that they've sort of forced their hand and made them get political ads is only going to be worse. So one side of the aisle or the other is going to suffer under that. A better policy would be none. Zero politics.
Yep.
I don't understand why they did that. Yeah, so I don't. If this could have been a series finale easily, or season finale. The fact that it's not a season finale, and that we have one more episode, makes me think that Seth has just like huge nuts, and he ends this on a cliffhanger on purpose before he even knows that he's gonna have a season 4.
Maybe that's a pretty ballsy move, but wouldn't be out of character.
It wouldn't be.
Look how long we waited for Orville to come back.
Right. He can also do that.
We're gonna wait another what? 3 years? 2 years? 3 years? Let's say an announcement comes 3 months from now. Right. How long is it going to be again?
At least 2 years. At least 2 years. Yeah. What if they do this though? What if they end it the way they ended season 2, where it doesn't actually affect the storyline whatsoever, and it was almost like a sort of a throwaway.
A softball, like just a throwaway.
Yeah, a little softball. Still a cool episode, but didn't really affect the story. I don't know. Next week, it's going to be a big week because we're going to be talking about, all right, well, obviously they're planning on continuing season 4 in some way, or they're not. Salty Drago said, right. Brian, there will not be a cliffhanger. He said as much at Comic-Con. I mean, we'll see. He says a lot of stuff at Comic-Con. Comic-Con is a lot more about getting people to watch something than actually telling the truth. I'll tell you that right now. Because I watched Comic-Con, I watched one panel an hour before that contradicted everything the panel after it said about the same exact show. So, I don't know. All right. Yeah, he said there's going to be a satisfying ending. I saw the same thing. And we'll see. All right, well, that's it. We're going to wrap it up for the Orville review. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. Hit that subscribe button on the way down there. And let us know what you guys think about Mexican Iron Man joining us. Huh? Give him your love. Give him your love in the comment section. All right, we're moving on. All right, we're going to be talking about Marvel Phase 5, Alex Kurtzman, and Cavill. But it's in the members section. I'm sorry, guys. If you guys... You know what? We have one more super chat. John Burns says, what if it's the Union 10,000 years in the future? Imagine they go 10,000 years in the future and it's just Kaylon. Right?
That'd be funny.
Okay, guys, we are going to the members section. I know a bunch of you guys are already members, so come join us. We are going to be talking about the Marvel Phase 5 lineup and how disgustingly disappointing it is, to me at least. Alex Kurtzman confirms 2 new Star Trek series, and I think one of those series is Janeway. I think they're making a Janeway series. And Henry Cavill holding out for more money as Superman, and his reason for not being at Comic-Con was because apparently he got COVID. I'm not sure how true that is. We're going to talk about it. Come on over to the members section. The water's warm. Mexican Iron Man just peed in it. We're waiting for you over here. We're going to wrap this up for now, though. We're going to go over to the members section. If you guys have not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want, come join us in the members section where we spend another, hour just having fun. It's going to be great.
Woohoo!
Where is that button? There it is. All right, so you can go to popcast.co/join. The link is also in the description. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the link directly in the chat for all you mobile users. And that's it. We're going offline. Thank you so much for being here. If you're not coming to the members section, that's cool. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see you on Saturday. But if you do come over, that'd be great too.